what I'm about to say might not be 100% correct, so do your own due diligence, but we start in ancient Mesopotamia, or modern-day Iraq, with a man called Abraham who is polytheistic. There is a famine going on, so he receives word from God that he is to go and find his promised land. He travels through Turkey to the promised land of Canaan, which is Israel, Jordan, Syria, and Lebanon. He settles there and grows wealthy, apart from that one point where there's a famine where he moves to Egypt, but then he moves back, and then there's his grandson Jacob and his 12 sons. There's another famine, and they head to Egypt. But it's okay for about 3 generations until slavery happens, and then Moses promises freedom to the land of our fathers. So he gets to Jordan, where he sends 12 spies into Canaan. Only 2 come back with a positive report because all of these people are living there at the minute. God decrees that the generation that left Egypt is to wander the desert and die because unfaithfulness. But anyway, Joshua and Caleb conquest Canaan. They fight/depose all of these people, and the 12 tribes receive the share of the land. Now, this goes into the cycle of apostasy, where the elected officials are a committee. People begin turning away from God, which leads to them being invaded by foreign powers, which leads to someone becoming a judge and rising up against them, military deliverance, and shalom, a period of peace. So, the period of judges, we have Samuel, who anoints Saul, who anoints David. David fights with the Philistines, who are a mix of the Babylonians and Assyrians. They're also fighting with the Scythicans, which is like Ukraine and Central Asia. So this period of judges goes on until Solomon, and there's a period of peace in Jerusalem. Until Solomon turns into a dick and the people rebel. It gets split into North Jerusalem, or the United Kingdom of Jerusalem, under Rehoboam, who is also a dick, who gets deposed by Jeroboam, who worshipped golden calves. He is Assyrian. Southern Jerusalem, also under Rehoboam, gets taken over by the Assyrians and the Babylonians, and the Jews are exiled under the Persian rule. So, we're now in 536 BCE, and Babylon has Jerusalem. 70 years pass, and Cyrus the Great allows the Jews to return and rebuild. He also starts taking over these places. He takes over Asia Minor, which pisses off Alexander the Great, who starts his conquest. He enters Jewish Jerusalem peacefully and takes over. He dies, and the land gets split and fought over internally until 165 BCE, when the Jewish uprising in Jerusalem is once again Jewish, and Hanukkah is born. Until 63 BCE, when Pompey the Roman takes over and reverts to polytheism. In 37 BCE, Jesus is born, and in 36 BCE, Jesus dies. Sometime in between here and there, Romans convert to Christianity and absolutely obliterate Jerusalem and rebuild it in Jesus' name. Not much happens till about 614 CE. Now, in this time, we have the Vikings. Now, the Vikings invaded Europe, America, Canada, the Mediterranean, North Africa, and Byzantium, as well as Asia. They had a tiff with the Mongols, who, that's a whole other thing. We'll get back to that. Right, where were we? Oh yeah, what else we got going on? Muhammad was born. Now, Muhammad was a bit like Jesus in the way that the current religious officials hated everything he had to say because it wasn't the way. Survival instinct. Now, the only difference between Muhammad and Jesus is Jesus became a martyr and they tried to murder Muhammad. And I don't know if you've ever seen Peaky Blinders, but nah. So, Jerusalem's Persian, and the religion is Zoroastrianism, which is a very old religion. It's polytheistic. The Roman reconquest makes it Christian again. Then Muslims peacefully re-enter the city, and there's a period of coexistence until the Crusader period, which kind of starts when the Muslims invade Spain. Now, the Crusader period, 1099 to 1187, that involves most of Europe who have just finished with these guys. But in 1066, King Harold II was asking for French Jews' help to defeat the Normans, and then about 200 years later, the Jewish population is beginning to be expelled from Europe. So we've got France, Portugal, Italy, Spain, Poland, Hungary, and England all getting rid of the Jews. Now, so Jerusalem's Christian for a bit until Sultan Saladin comes over and takes it back. until the Ayyubids come in and take it back. They're from Egypt, Syria, and Mesopotamia, until the Mamelukes take it back, who were slaves of the Ayyubids, and that was a period of relative safety. Then the Ottoman Empire came over, and they were like, oh, hey, you're being evicted from these places? This cool, Jews, we'll take you. They also provided like £10,000 for the Irish potato famine, which is great. So, World War II happens. Unfortunately, Turkey is on the wrong side. And then Israel comes under the British mandate and becomes British. World War II happens, and then Israel is created and split with Jordan. The Jews have a home nation, and Jordan is Muslim. Gaza is under the Egyptian administration, and they give it back. Israel takes East Jordan. That leads to the Six-Day War in Gaza. Israel annexes East Jerusalem and claims Jerusalem is the capital. Israel gives up Gaza to Palestine, and then Hamas takes over Gaza. So that's what's going on.